Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Are you a coin enthusiast or someone who just stumbled upon a penny in your pocket and wondered if it might be worth more than its face value? What if I told you that a 2013 1-cent coin, a humble penny minted in Denver, could be valued at a staggering $638 due to its unique errors, anomalies, and rare minting characteristics that make it one of the most desirable modern coins in circulation among collectors and numismatists? The 2013 Lincoln Shield cent might seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, featuring the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, but under closer inspection, this tiny copper-plated zinc coin has been discovered with variations and errors that have led to incredible valuations far beyond its intended worth of just 1 cent. This jaw-dropping valuation isn't due to the precious metal content or age but rather to minting mistakes, design flaws, die clashes, double dies, off-center strikes, and rare transitional errors that have made specific examples of this coin highly sought after. Some 2013 cents have been reported with strong doubling on Lincoln's eye, nose, and beard, clear doubling in the date and mint mark area, and even extra columns showing up on the reverse shield design due to die misalignment or hub doubling, all of which are indicators of a doubled die obverse or reverse. And these types of coins often become top targets for collectors who are ready to pay hundreds or even thousands for clean, high-grade specimens. Even more intriguing are 2013 pennies that show die breaks, known among collectors as cuds, where a portion of the coin appears to have a blob or raised area, typically on the rim or near the lettering, indicating a piece of the die has broken off during minting. These cud errors can range from small to dramatic, and the more unusual and visible they are, the more desirable the coin becomes. Then there are the coins with retained die cracks or interior die breaks, which resemble jagged raised lines across Lincoln's face, jacket, or the shield on the reverse, creating a dramatic visual anomaly that's not only fascinating to look at but incredibly valuable to those in the numismatic world. One famous example is a 2013 penny struck on a misaligned die, resulting in an off-center coin where only part of the design is visible, and if the date is still readable on such an off-center strike, the value skyrockets, sometimes reaching into hundreds of dollars depending on condition and visibility. There have also been reports of coins struck on the wrong planchets, such as a 2013 cent struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin planchet, leading to coins that are underweight, have unusual coloring, or feature incomplete designs. These errors are extremely rare and highly coveted. Additionally, some examples show clear signs of overpolishing where parts of the design vanish due to excessive die cleaning, such as missing initials, missing details in Lincoln's bust, or partial shield designs. These may be categorized as struck through grease errors or simple overpolished die strikes, but regardless of classification, they remain very collectible. Furthermore, the state of the coin also plays a massive role. Coins graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC can fetch far more due to their pristine condition, with original luster, no wear, and sharp details. In these grades, even minor errors command premiums, and more dramatic ones can lead to auction prices well beyond $600. Imagine finding such a coin in your change, a penny that looks a little off, perhaps with a small defect, and learning that it could be worth more than a new smartphone. And with the popularity of coin hunting and error coin collecting rising through social media platforms, many are diving into this hobby looking for coins like the valuable 2013 penny that breaks expectations and bank accounts. The market for error coins is booming, with YouTube videos, TikToks, and Instagram reels regularly featuring ordinary people discovering small coins with enormous paydays, and the 2013 penny is a prime example of a modern coin with explosive collector potential, especially as more errors are discovered and documented. Every minting year has its surprises, and 2013 is no exception, with its Denver minted 1-cent coins offering a variety of flaws and anomalies for treasure hunters to chase. Collectors also look for full steps on the reverse shield, strong strike lines, absence of die fatigue, and unusual coloration such as toning that occurs due to exposure to elements, which while not necessarily an error, can make a coin stand out if it appears dramatically rainbow-toned or darkly patinated in an aesthetically pleasing way. Combine any of these visual oddities with a high mint state grade and you're potentially looking at a coin worth many hundreds of dollars, especially when certified by a reputable third-party grading company. And let's not forget the increasing historical importance of even recent coins. The 2013 D penny belongs to the Shield cent series introduced in 2010 to honor Lincoln's preservation of the Union, and anything within that historical context that exhibits mistakes or production flaws naturally gains value as time passes and fewer clean examples remain in circulation. With mintages in the billions, one might assume that no individual 2013 D penny could be valuable, but history shows us that even among the most common coins, there are rarities born from production anomalies and oversights, creating hidden gems within our everyday pocket change. These coins become modern numismatic legends, discussed in collector forums, displayed in auction catalogs, and shared virally online, creating a rush of excitement and engagement every time a new era variety is confirmed. The best part is you don't have to be a professional collector to benefit. Many era coins are found by casual observers, young hobbyists, and curious individuals who simply take the time to look more closely. So whether you're flipping through rolls from the bank, sorting through your coin jar, or just checking the change from a grocery trip, that 2013 D penny with the slight misprint, odd coloration, or unusual strike might just be your golden ticket to a $638 payday or more. The key is knowing what to look for: doubling, die cracks, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, missing details, mint mark anomalies, and strong grades, and then verifying your find with a trusted grading service or collector community. The world of coin collecting is full of mystery, history, and the thrill of discovery, and coins like the 2013 D penny are at the center of that excitement, reminding us that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value. So take a second look at that penny before tossing it aside. It could be your next big win. If you found this story fascinating and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you won't miss any of our deep dives into hidden treasures of American currency. Next, 1992 D1 Cine USA coin. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny copper coin that seems so ordinary, so overlooked by most people, yet in the world of numismatics and rare coin collectors, it is nothing short of a buried treasure, a 1992 D1 cent coin. A piece that originally held the face value of just 1 cent but has now stunned collectors and experts alike by skyrocketing in value to an astonishing $624, not because of its age, which might seem relatively recent compared to ancient coins, but due to the elusive and highly sought-after transitional errors and striking mistakes that occurred during its minting process, which have elevated its worth into the realm of big money. And before we dig deeper into why this particular penny is making headlines, setting forums and auctions on fire, and turning the heads of even the most experienced collectors, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable coin finds, because this isn't just about coins, it's about discovering history, era rarity, and hidden fortune in the palm of your hand. Now the story of the 1992 D penny begins during a significant transitional period in U.S. coinage history when the U.S. Mint was preparing for changes in the Lincoln cent's design, specifically regarding the font style and the spacing between the letters and the phrase, America, on the reverse side. Now typically, the coins produced in 1992 featured what is known as the wide AM style, in which there is a noticeable gap between the letters A and M in America, but due to a rare mix-up in the dies used in Denver, a few 1992 D pennies were mistakenly struck using a reverse die intended for coins minted in later years with the close AM configuration, meaning that the A and M are almost touching or extremely close to each other. And it is precisely this die variety that transforms a seemingly regular coin into a high-value collectible. The 1992 D close AM penny is among the rarest Lincoln cent varieties and has sparked a frenzy in the coin community, with only a few confirmed examples known to exist and each one commanding impressive premiums at auction. But the rarity doesn't end there, because these transitional era coins are exceedingly difficult to identify unless you know exactly what to look for under magnification. And that includes not only the spacing between A and M but also careful inspection of the designer initials, die wear, strike quality, and other minor anomalies that may suggest a misused die or production inconsistency. and for those who are lucky enough to find one in their pocket change or inherited collections, they are often stunned to discover that what appeared to be a regular 1992 penny was actually a goldmine hiding in plain sight. Now, what makes the 1992 D-Close AM so incredibly compelling to collectors is that it bridges the gap between old and new die usage, an accidental glimpse into mint operations where a single oversight led to a coin so rare that it's now one of the holy grails of modern Lincoln cents, and as the number of authenticated specimens remains minimal, prices continue to climb with collectors vying to complete their sets and capitalize on the increasing demand. But it's not just the AM spacing alone that gives these coins their massive value. Other indicators such as off-center strikes, die doubling on the obverse, especially on Lincoln's profile or on the date, die cracks, cuds, or plating issues can also push the value higher, particularly when these errors occur in combination with the rare reverse, making the coin even more of a unicorn. And because of these factors, even lower-grade examples have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars, with near-mint or uncirculated versions pushing well past the $624 mark and potentially reaching higher figures depending on the market and collector interest at the time of sale. What's more, is that even coin dealers may occasionally miss these subtle yet financially significant differences, so it's entirely possible that someone out there could be unknowingly sitting on a 1992 D-Close AM penny worth a small fortune, and that's why educating yourself on what to look for and regularly checking your change can truly pay off in the long run. Now let's dive deeper into how such errors occur during the coin minting process. Dies must be properly matched and aligned to ensure consistency across billions of coins struck each year, but when a die intended for a proof coin or a newer year is inadvertently used on a regular mint run, anomalies like the close AM arise, and these errors are often caught only after a small batch has already been released into circulation, making retrieval nearly impossible and value significantly higher due to the minuscule number of examples left in the wild. And interestingly, the 1992 D-Close AM error wasn't even publicly identified until many years later, meaning that for decades these coins may have changed hands countless times, tucked into drawers, forgotten in jars, or lost in circulation, which only adds to their mystery and allure. And the appeal extends beyond just hardcore numismatists. Investors, history buffs, and casual hobbyists have all taken an interest in these anomalies, and rightly so, because even finding a single such coin can yield returns that rival some stocks and collectibles, making it not just a hobby, but potentially a lucrative side hustle or investment opportunity. And when authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC, these coins often see sharp jumps in market value, especially if they receive high mint state grades like MS64 or higher. And while some coin errors can be explained by mechanical failures, die clashes, or poor quality control, transitional die errors like the 1992 D-Close AM are particularly desirable because they represent a shift in design that was never meant to be released, making them true modern-day rarities, and in some cases, these coins become the centerpiece of entire collections, displayed proudly at coin shows or featured in publications, and the prestige of owning one is enormous within the community, not just because of their financial worth but because they are conversation starters, artifacts of history, and proof that even in the most routine places like our pockets and purses, treasure can be hiding. And now with the digital age and rise of online marketplaces, it's easier than ever to find buyers and platforms where such rare coins can be appraised, auctioned, or traded, and this increased accessibility is fueling a new generation of collectors who are more informed, more connected, and more eager to uncover the next big find. So whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just stumbled upon a strange-looking penny, take a closer look, because you might just be holding a piece of American minting history that could change your financial future. And remember that stories like the 1992 D-Close AM penny continue to inspire collectors to search with greater intensity, learn with more passion, and treasure even the smallest coin in their pocket, because in the world of rare coin collecting, the next life-changing discovery might be just one penny away. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, error hunting tips, and hidden treasures, because you never know when the next 1-cent coin might just be worth $624 or more. Next 2001 D 1 cent USA coin, we dive deep into the world of rare coins, uncovering hidden treasures that may be lying quietly in your pocket change or stashed away in old drawers. And today we're going to explore the fascinating and extraordinary story behind the 2001 1-cent coin. A seemingly ordinary Lincoln penny minted in Denver that has astonished collectors by fetching a staggering value of $613 due to its unique errors, mistakes, and remarkable numismatic oddities that make it stand out from millions of other coins produced that year. And as we peel back the layers of history, minting processes, and intricate anomalies that elevate this coin from everyday currency to a collectible item worth big money, we will begin to understand how such a tiny copper-plated zinc disc can captivate the attention of coin experts, investors, and hobbyists all over the world, because the 2001 penny, although mass-produced in the hundreds of millions, carries within its metallic core certain striking inconsistencies and imperfections that make specific specimens highly sought after in auctions and private sales, starting first with one of the most commonly found but extremely profitable errors, the double die obverse, where the coin exhibits noticeable doubling on Lincoln's profile, particularly on his eyes, nose, and mouth, or on the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," often creating a blurred or shadowed effect that is easily identifiable under magnification and sometimes even visible to the naked eye, and collectors who manage to spot such an error on a 2001 penny can see its value skyrocket from 1 cent to hundreds of dollars, but that's only the beginning, because other anomalies like off-center strikes, where the die fails to align properly with the planchet, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or skewed dramatically to one side, not only make for eye-catching visuals but also drastically increase rarity and thus value, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, which is a key requirement for grading and selling. And let's not forget the broad strike errors, where the collar die is missing during the minting process, allowing the metal to expand more than usual, producing a warped or widened penny that lacks the usual rim, or the clipped planchet error where a portion of the coin is literally missing due to the blank being punched out too close to the edge of the metal sheet, leading to crescent-shaped voids that add uniqueness and collectible appeal, while other 2001 errors include the die cracks and cuds, resulting from worn or broken dies that leave raised lines or lumps of extra metal on the surface of the coin, sometimes creating dramatic features like an extra rim over Lincoln's head or protrusions from the edges which look like misplaced limbs or deformities and often fascinate numismatists looking for the most unusual finds. And then there are the more subtle errors, such as repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the mint mark appears to be stamped twice or at a slight angle, suggesting the die was adjusted between strikes or double struck. And this particular error is rare on modern pennies but can command high prices when verified. And even more obscure are coins struck on the wrong planchet entirely, like a 2001 penny mistakenly struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet, leading to dramatic size, weight, and coloration differences that instantly make the coins stand out and invite close examination and authentication. And these minting mistakes often escape the mint's quality control due to the immense volume of production at facilities like Denver, where billions of coins are churned out annually and minor slip-ups are inevitable though rarely caught in time, which is exactly what adds to the allure and value of these error coins. Because rarity and novelty fuel demand among collectors, and when a single error coin is verified, especially if graded by top services like PCGS or NGC, it not only gains a numeric grade but also a designation of error type, which boosts both its authenticity and desirability in the eyes of buyers. And such coins have been known to fetch hundreds, sometimes even thousands, of dollars depending on condition, error clarity, and auction competition. And the 2001 penny in particular has gained notoriety over the years as more examples of unique errors continue to surface, creating a niche community of enthusiasts who specialize in this exact date and mint mark, combing through bags of circulated cents or unsearched rolls in the hopes of uncovering the next big discovery. And it's important to note that not every 2001 penny is valuable, but those that possess identifiable, certified errors are treasures in disguise, with values often climbing based on collector sentiment, rarity index, and historical trends in the numismatic market, which tends to favor coins that combine mint errors with good eye appeal and preservation, especially in grades of MS-60 and above, and beyond mechanical flaws. some 2001 cents are sought after for their striking colorations due to planchet contamination or post-mint environmental toning that still garners interest due to the overall uniqueness, and in some rare cases, coins have been known to show ghosting effects or die rotation anomalies where the obverse and reverse are misaligned significantly, adding yet another layer of intrigue to this otherwise common coin. And with coin shows, online marketplaces, and dedicated auction platforms making error coins more visible to the general public, the 2001 penny continues to draw attention as more collectors seek to complete error sets or find investment-worthy pieces that might appreciate over time, and this trend is amplified by the ever-growing social media exposure of numismatics, where viral videos and shared discoveries reignite interest in particular dates like 2001 leading to price fluctuations based on sudden surges in popularity or new high-profile finds, and as coin grading and verification technology improve, even the most minuscule errors once considered insignificant can now be magnified, analyzed, and certified, giving rise to new categories of micro-errors that appeal to precision-focused collectors and analysts. And while some critics might argue that the value of a 2001 penny at $613 is speculative or inflated, historical auction records and verified sales confirm that coins with prominent, rare, and certified errors consistently draw competitive bids and high prices, proving that this penny is far more than pocket change. It's a testament to the unpredictable nature of minting and the enduring fascination with imperfections, and whether it's a dramatic die cap error where one coin sticks to the die and distorts subsequent strikes, or a minor but collectible doubling on the motto, each variant of the 2001 penny tells a story that connects the everyday object in your hand to a broader narrative of production, error, discovery, and value, and as more people begin to examine their change and look closer at the coins they once ignored, the possibility of finding a 2001 penny worth hundreds becomes not just a collector's dream but a real financial opportunity that might be hiding in plain sight, which is why we encourage viewers to check their coins, learn about the types of errors to look for, and stay curious because numismatics is not just a hobby, it's a journey into history, design, and hidden value. And in closing, if you found this deep dive into the 2001 1-cent coin fascinating and informative, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel for more amazing coin stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss another discovery that could change the way you see your spare change forever. Next, 1975 1-cent USA coin, we dive deep into the fascinating and sometimes unbelievable world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and small cents with huge value, and today we are going to uncover the stunning story of the 1975 1-cent coin, yes, the humble 1975 Lincoln penny that most people wouldn't look at twice, but due to a series of rare and intriguing mint errors, striking anomalies, and production flaws, some of these coins are now worth up to $333 or even more, making them an incredibly valuable piece for collectors and enthusiasts alike. And in this extended exploration, we will peel back every layer of what makes this particular penny so special, so desirable, and why it has stunned even seasoned numismatists across the country and beyond. So settle in, grab your collection, and maybe even a magnifying glass, because by the time you're done with this script, you'll never look at a 1975 penny the same way again, and you might just rush to search through your change jar for a fortune hiding in plain sight. Now let's begin with the historical context. The 1975 Lincoln cent was minted during a time of high production at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with billions of these coins being struck and circulated across the nation, and because of this massive production run, the vast majority of these pennies are considered common and are typically only worth face value. But as is often the case in high-volume manufacturing environments, quality control issues can and did arise, resulting in a small number of coins exhibiting rare mint errors that drastically increase their value in the eyes of collectors, and among the most valuable of these are coins with off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, BE errors, struck through grease marks, and improper alloy mixes, all of which we will now examine in deep detail, beginning with the famous double die errors. Now, a double die occurs when the coin's die receives multiple impressions from the hub in slightly different positions, causing parts of the design, usually the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, to appear doubled or distorted, and in the case of the 1975 penny, several examples have been found with doubling on the date, particularly the 1 and 9, and also on the words liberty and in God we trust, and while these errors may be subtle to the untrained eye, under magnification they become clear and unmistakable, and when authenticated, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars at auction, especially if they are in uncirculated condition. And then there are off-center strikes, which are caused when the coin blank or planchet is not properly aligned within the striking chamber during production, leading to coins that are partially blank and partially struck with the design shifted to one side, and depending on how far off-center the strike is, typically the more dramatic, the better, the value can skyrocket, especially if the date is still fully visible, and 1975 off-center pennies with dates intact have sold for over $200 to $300 depending on condition and percentage of misalignment, and collectors often prize off-center strikes between 50 to 75% as the sweet spot for both aesthetics and rarity. Moving on, we come to die cracks and cuds, which are caused by breaks or damage in the dies themselves, resulting in raised lines or blobs of metal appearing on the finished coins where they don't belong, and while minor die cracks are fairly common and might only increase a coin's value slightly, major die cracks or cuds, especially those that form dramatic shapes or patterns, can push values well into the hundreds, particularly when they occur in combination with other errors like doubling or off-centering, and one notable variety of the 1975 penny features a large die crack running from Lincoln's forehead through the rim, creating what some collectors affectionately call the lightning bolt variety, and examples of this type in good condition have fetched over $250 from eager buyers looking to complete error type sets. Now let's not forget about clipped planchets, which occur when a coin blank is improperly punched from the metal sheet, resulting in a crescent-shaped or straight clip along the edge of the coin, and while these errors are fairly obvious, they are also relatively rare, especially when the coin is in good condition and has a strong strike with all major details intact, and 1975 pennies with dramatic clipped planchets have been known to sell for between $100 and $300 depending on severity and grade, and then there's one of the most interesting and misunderstood types of errors, the struck-through error, where foreign material such as grease, thread, or even debris becomes lodged between the die and the planchet during the striking process, causing portions of the design to be missing or faint, and struck-through grease errors can result in extremely weak or invisible lettering, particularly in the motto or mint mark, and because these errors are relatively rare and can often be mistaken for post-mint damage, they can be extremely valuable when properly authenticated and preserved, with 1975 examples known to reach $200 or more, especially when dramatic or combined with other varieties. Another fascinating phenomenon is the BIE error, named for the appearance of an extra die chip between the letters B and E in liberty, which can resemble the letter I, creating the illusion that the word spells liberty. And while BIE errors are relatively minor compared to other major blunders, they have developed a cult following among Lincoln cent specialists and can still command premiums of $20 to $100 depending on the size and clarity of the chip and the overall condition of the coin. And if we dive even deeper into the metallurgy, there have been rare instances of improper alloy mixtures in 1975 cents, which should be composed primarily of copper, with a small percentage of zinc, but due to contamination or inconsistent blending during planchet preparation, some coins were struck on planchets that had higher or lower than usual levels of one metal, resulting in unusual colorations, toning, or even weight variations. And while these errors often require advanced testing to confirm, they are of great interest to specialists and can easily elevate a penny's value when verified. And then we come to the rare but very real possibility of transitional planchet errors, which occur when a coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or year. And while no confirmed 1975 pennies struck on foreign planchets have come to light yet, it remains a possibility given the known cases in other years and mints, and collectors are always on the lookout for pennies that appear undersized, overweight, or off-colored, all of which can be signs of such a minting mishap. And then we must consider the sheer importance of condition. Because while errors drive the core of a coin's value, the coin's grade, whether it is circulated, uncirculated, or even in mint state, can double or triple the final price, especially when combined with dramatic visual appeal and clear error characteristics, so coins graded MS60 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC almost always command the highest prices. And in the case of a 1975 penny with multiple errors in mint state, it's not unrealistic to see auction results in the $300 to $400 range or even higher if collector demand is especially high. And speaking of demand, the Lincoln Penny series has one of the most passionate collector bases in all of U.S. coinage, meaning that even relatively obscure varieties can attract interest if properly documented and shared in collecting forums, auction houses, and online marketplaces. And that's why knowledge is so powerful in this hobby, because being able to recognize and understand these subtle variations is what separates the average coin from a rare and valuable find. And the 1975 penny, with its rich potential for error, is a prime target for this kind of discovery. And as more collectors become aware of these possibilities, demand continues to rise, prices are climbing, and once overlooked coins are now being re-evaluated with fresh eyes, making this an exciting time to be involved in coin collecting whether you're a seasoned veteran or just starting out. And every time you hold a 1975 penny, you might just be holding a miniature piece of minting history, a coin that defied the odds, slipped past inspectors, and now stands as a rare and highly prized gem among billions of others. And remember that new varieties and error types are still being discovered to this day, often by sharp-eyed hobbyists digging through old collections or simply paying closer attention to their everyday change. So stay curious, stay observant, and never assume that a coin is worthless just because it looks common at first glance, because it's those who look deeper that find the hidden stories, the missteps that create rarities, and the forgotten pieces that can become treasures. And the 1975 penny, despite being almost half a century old, still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered, and with examples fetching $333 or more due to the right combination of errors, condition, and rarity. This is one coin that proves even the smallest details can lead to the biggest surprises. And as always, thank you for joining this deep dive into rare coins and mint errors. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories, error guides, and real-world values from the world of numismatics, because that 1-cent 1975 penny in your pocket just might be the key to your next big discovery. Next, 2005 1-cent USA coin. Rare coins come to life, and today's incredible feature is none other than the 2005 1-cent coin, a humble piece of copper-plated zinc that most people would casually drop in a vending machine or let slip through their fingers without a second thought. Yet among the masses of these coins lies a remarkable secret, a numismatic marvel that, due to a variety of minting errors, unexpected anomalies, and rare imperfections, can be worth an astonishing $446 or more. And today we are diving deep into every detail and possibility that makes this specific penny from 2005 so exceptionally valuable, a value that stands out not because of its face value but due to the fascinating story told through its physical traits, manufacturing deviations, and collector demand. And as we explore the behind-the-scenes mechanics of the United States Mint's operations in 2005, a year that witnessed millions of coins being produced at breakneck speed, it becomes easier to understand how such rare and lucrative errors could have occurred in the midst of such industrial precision. And we begin with the most discussed and often most striking error associated with the 2005 penny, the double die obverse, a mesmerizing flaw where Lincoln's portrait or the surrounding text such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date itself appears to have a duplicated, shadow-like image, giving the illusion of motion or layered print and drawing attention from even casual observers once they know what to look for. And when such a coin is discovered in high condition, particularly those graded mint state 60 or higher by trusted third-party graders like NGC or PCGS, its market value can climb dramatically. And that's just one of the many types of errors possible in this fascinating year, because others include the classic off-center strike, an error caused when the coin blank or planchet is not properly aligned within the striking chamber, resulting in a final product where Lincoln's face and other design features are shifted to the edge or partially cut off. And in cases where the date and mint mark are still visible, these coins are particularly desirable to collectors who value both dramatic visual impact and complete identifying details. And there's the broad strike error, created when the collar die, the part of the press that normally keeps the metal from expanding outward, is missing or malfunctioning, which results in a coin that looks stretched out or bloated around the rim and lacks the usual raised border that defines most standard issue coins, and these broadstrike 2005 pennies often carry a premium when the error is well preserved and clearly noticeable. Then we move into another type of prized anomaly, the clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin is missing, typically in a crescent shape due to the blank being punched too close to the edge of the metal sheet, and depending on the severity and location of the clip, the rarity and price can increase substantially, especially if the missing portion does not affect key identifying information, and then we must explore die cracks and cuds, both of which are signs of worn or broken dies that manifest as raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin surface, sometimes creating what appears to be random scars or strange growths on Lincoln's image or the surrounding design elements. And these errors can range from subtle to highly dramatic, with those featuring bold, jagged cracks or clearly defined cuds on the rim or portrait being especially sought after. And then there are repunched mint marks, or RPMs, where the D mint mark appears to be struck more than once at slightly different angles, a result of the mint worker manually punching the mint mark into the die more than once in an imperfect alignment, a process that is now obsolete but still occurred in some cases through to the early 2000s and adds a collectible flair for those who cherish such remnants of older minting processes. And the 2005 penny also has known examples of being struck on foreign or mismatched planchets, such as those intended for dimes, nickels, or even coins from other countries, resulting in coins that are lighter, smaller, or of a completely different hue than expected, and these kinds of errors are among the most valuable due to their scarcity and the immediate, unmistakable difference they present from standard coins, making them prized finds that collectors and investors will pay top dollar to obtain. And adding another layer to this already complex tale are the so-called mule errors, though exceptionally rare, where a coin features mismatched obverse and reverse designs from two different coin types, and while no widely known 2005 penny mule errors have entered the public record yet, the possibility always lingers in collectors' minds and fuels an ongoing hunt. And even more subtle but still intriguing are rotational die errors, where the reverse side of the coin is rotated more than the typical mint allowance in relation to the obverse, which can become a highly valued feature depending on the degree of rotation and overall condition of the coin. And let us not overlook the aesthetic variations that come from improper alloy mixtures or environmental toning, where coins display unusual color patterns from brown to rainbow hues, caused either during minting or through chemical exposure, and while post-mint toning can decrease value, natural and attractive toning often enhances the visual appeal and market desirability of a coin, especially in an era where eye-catching uniqueness carries immense collectible weight, and 2005 also witnessed instances of weak strikes, a condition where the coin appears blurry or under-detailed due to insufficient striking pressure or worn dies, which can lead to missing or incomplete features. And although such errors can be mistaken for wear, knowledgeable collectors can distinguish between circulated damage and legitimate weak strike errors, particularly when the coins come from uncirculated rolls, and there are coins known to exhibit strike-through errors, where foreign material like grease, metal shavings, or even fabric got caught between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving behind a ghostly imprint or distorted surface that can vary from subtle to stunning and serve as tangible proof of the chaotic environment within high-speed minting facilities. And some of the most intriguing 2005 pennies feature die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring partial design elements from one die to the other and resulting in coins that display faint outlines of reverse imagery on the obverse and vice versa, creating an ethereal, haunting appearance that fascinates advanced numismatists and elevates the coin's desirability, and perhaps one of the most overlooked yet financially significant factors influencing the value of 2005 penny errors is their condition and certification status, because a coin with an error may be inherently rare, but if it is damaged, heavily circulated, or ungraded, its marketability is reduced, while that same coin graded MS65 or above and encapsulated by a reputable service can attract fierce bidding and enthusiastic collectors willing to pay well above the average market rate, and these coins become even more valuable when accompanied by provenance or sales history at well-known auctions such as Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections, where past records serve as benchmarks for current appraisals, and as the interest in modern-era coins continues to grow, fueled by social media, educational platforms, and expanding online coin communities, more people than ever are diving into pocket change in search of that elusive jackpot, and the 2005 penny remains one of the most exciting coins to search for due to its known range of errors and its relatively recent vintage, which means many of these coins still lie undiscovered in circulation, bank rolls, and private collections, waiting for keen eyes and magnifying glasses to reveal their true nature, and some collectors even focus exclusively on 2005 errors, creating mini sub-collections around varieties like off-centers with clear dates, extreme die cracks, multi-struck examples, and more, each representing a small but fascinating chapter in the unpredictable story of minting. And even though the odds may seem slim, with millions of pennies still in use across the country, the chance of finding a $446 or more error coin is not impossible, especially for those who know what to look for, take the time to study varieties, and consistently examine their coins under proper lighting and magnification. And this level of awareness and education separates casual observers from savvy collectors who understand that the true value of a coin is not just in its metal content or historical age, but in the rare convergence of mistakes, survival, and condition that can turn 1 cent into hundreds of dollars in value. And so if you're wondering whether it's worth checking every penny you come across, let the 2005 penny be your answer, because every time someone overlooks a coin thinking it's worthless, they might be passing up a small fortune hiding in plain sight. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a beginner with curiosity, or just someone who enjoys the thrill of treasure hunting, keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the incredible worth of what might seem like ordinary change. And if you enjoyed this in-depth look at the fascinating and valuable world of the 2005 1-cent coin and its potential to be worth $446 or more due to mint errors and mistakes, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting discoveries, coin breakdowns, and amazing real-life examples that prove the value of knowledge and observation in the world of coin collecting. Next, 1996 D 1-cent USA coin. Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to one of the most exciting deep dives in the world of coin collecting, where the smallest piece of change could lead to a discovery worth hundreds of dollars and possibly much more, as we explore the truly incredible and fascinating story behind the 1996 D Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin that has been recorded to sell for as much as $600 or more, not because it's made of any precious metal or because it's extremely old, but because of the extraordinary types of errors, minting flaws, die anomalies, striking mistakes, and overlooked inconsistencies that have made certain examples of this modern penny some of the most sought-after treasures in the world of numismatics. And as we dive into this journey together, you'll discover how a seemingly common copper-plated zinc penny minted in Denver in 1996 became one of the biggest attention-grabbing coins in modern-era collecting history, and we'll peel back the layers of what types of mistakes can catapult a simple 1-cent coin into the realm of high-value collectibles, as well as what you should be looking for if you happen to come across this coin in your pocket change, your coin jar, or inside a forgotten bank roll, because these coins are still circulating and you never know when a routine glance might turn into a $600 payday just by recognizing the telltale signs of errors that make this penny extremely valuable. And starting with the most well-known categories of minting issues, we begin with double die errors, which occur during the die hubbing process when the working die receives more than one misaligned impression from the hub, resulting in doubled images on the struck coins. And in the case of the 1996 D penny, there are known examples where doubling appears most prominently on the date, the mint mark, the lettering of liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." And when this doubling is strong, crisp, and visible even without magnification, it creates immediate collector interest and significantly boosts value, especially when preserved in uncirculated or mint state conditions. And many collectors specifically hunt for these double die varieties and pay top dollar for slabbed certified examples where the doubling is well documented and supported by grading companies. And another huge category is the repunched mint mark, or RPM, and 1996 D is one of those years where the Denver Mint had multiple known instances of repunching errors, which means the D mint mark was punched into the die more than once, creating overlapping or shadow-like effects which are often visible under magnification but sometimes even to the naked eye, and certain RPMs for this date are catalogued in online coin error databases, and even moderate examples have sold for significant amounts, especially in higher grades, and when these RPMs combine with other minor anomalies the value escalates rapidly, and beyond that we have the well-known off-center strike error, where the coin is not properly aligned during the striking process and ends up with a portion of the design missing while the rest is shifted to one side. And off-center coins can vary in value depending on how far off the design is and if the date and mint mark are still visible. In 1996, D penny that is 50% off-center with a clear date is highly desirable and can sell for hundreds all on its own, especially in uncirculated grades. And then we encounter broad-struck coins, which occur when the collar die fails and the coin is struck outside of its collar, leading to a coin with an expanded or distorted rim, and these are visibly unusual coins that collectors love because they stand out so clearly. And examples from 1996. D in this condition can also fetch hundreds if in strong shape. And then you've got the even rarer wrong planchet errors, where the coin is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination or even a foreign coin, which creates coins that are underweight or overweight with incorrect metal composition or coloration, and these are almost always worth big money since they are extremely scarce, and identifying one usually involves noticing that the coin looks smaller or larger than normal or has a strange color or tone. And certified 1996 D pennies struck on wrong planchets have been recorded at auction with values exceeding $600 depending on the type of planchet and its condition. And then there are die clash errors, which happen when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving parts of one design on the opposing die so that the struck coins show faint mirrored elements of the reverse on the obverse and vice versa. And when this occurs, especially when the clash marks are strong or bizarre in appearance, it creates another layer of collectability. And 1996 D clash error cents have been found with outlines of the Lincoln Memorial visible on Lincoln's face or bust, which is a striking visual and draws strong collector interest. And then we move into the fascinating world of die cracks and die breaks, which are essentially fractures in the die that get transferred as raised lines or blobs onto the struck coin. And a particularly well-known type of die break is the cud, which occurs when a piece of the die near the rim breaks off, resulting in a blob-like unstruck area, often wiping out parts of the design or rim. And these cuds are highly prized when large and dramatic. In 1996, D pennies with significant die breaks or cuds on the lettering or near Lincoln's head have been recorded and sought after by collectors who appreciate the raw mechanical flaw behind them. And in addition, we see many examples of struck-through errors which happen when foreign objects like grease, metal shavings or debris get between the die and planchet during striking, leading to missing or blurred design elements. And grease-filled dies are a specific subset where parts of the design, such as the date, mint mark, or lettering, are faint or completely gone because of grease obstructing the strike. And coins from 1996 D with such dramatic missing features are often categorized as mint errors, and when certified can be worth hundreds if well preserved. And another overlooked area is lamination errors, where the outer copper layer of the coin peels or flakes due to improper bonding with the zinc core during the plating process, which creates coins with cracked, bubbling or missing plating and dramatic lamination peels or flakes that affect major parts of the design, especially when they look like large metal blisters, are favorites among error collectors. And the larger and more centrally located these lamination errors are, the more valuable the coin becomes. In 1996 D has plenty of known examples. And then you've got coins that are just entirely misaligned, where the hammer and anvil dies weren't in correct position, which leads to coin designs that are shifted with doubled rims or parts of the image falling off the coin's surface. And 1996 D pennies with strong misalignment are not common but known, and these coins, depending on the severity of the strike, can be worth hundreds, and some have achieved four-figure values when accompanied by other flaws. And let's not forget color anomalies, especially natural rainbow toning, which can occur over time through environmental exposure or chemical reactions. And while not technically mint errors, such toning, when combined with high-grade status or other error types, can increase visual appeal and desirability. And naturally toned 1996 D coins that exhibit blue, purple or gold hues have caught the eyes of collectors and achieved exceptional sales figures, especially when certified in MS66 or higher. And this leads us into a critical aspect of value, which is condition and grading, since a coin with any of these errors in circulated condition is valuable, but when in uncirculated state, especially MS65, MS66, MS 67 or higher it multiplies in value exponentially, and some 1996 D error cents have been graded MS68 and above, which is extremely rare, and collectors compete for these top pop specimens knowing they are few and far between, and many collectors focus not only on the error but on the strike quality, eye appeal and luster, meaning that even a mild error on a spectacularly struck and preserved coin can push its price over the $600 mark, and when you have a high-grade coin that also includes dramatic errors like an off-center strike, doubling, lamination, or struck through debris, the potential value spikes rapidly, especially when authenticated by PCGS, NGC, or ANAX, and these certified examples are often auctioned on platforms like Heritage Auction, Stacks, Bowers, eBay, or Great Collections, and bidding wars frequently occur between collectors vying for the top pieces in this year and mint combination, and it's truly incredible to think that a small copper penny you might ignore every day could hide an error so valuable it changes your perception of what treasure really means, and it's for this reason that more people than ever before are getting into coin roll hunting and change checking and collecting, because stories like the 1996 D penny keep surfacing where someone unknowingly held onto a coin worth $600 or more simply because of an overlooked mistake at the US Mint, and these coins serve as reminders that perfection isn't always profitable, but errors and imperfections can become immensely valuable. So next time you see a 1996 D penny, be sure to check for signs of doubling, look at the mint mark, inspect the rim for cuds or cracks, tilt the coin to catch any missing design elements or shifts in alignment, weigh it to ensure it's the proper planchet, and above all check the condition and consider sending any potentially valuable piece for professional grading to maximize its worth. And whether you're an experienced collector or a complete beginner, stories like these make the hobby of coin collecting thrilling, mysterious, and highly rewarding. And if this story next 2016 D1 cent USA coin, the ultimate destination for coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters who know that sometimes the most extraordinary value can be hidden in the most ordinary places. And today we're going to explore a coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm with its surprisingly high value and captivating array of errors, the 2016 D1 cent coin. A modern Lincoln penny that was meant to be just another coin in your pocket change but turned into a valuable collector's item worth up to $563 or even more, all because of an astonishing range of errors, minting mistakes, and rare anomalies that elevate its value from a single cent to hundreds of dollars. And as we explore every inch of this incredible coin, its minting background, and the types of mistakes that occurred during its production, you'll begin to see just how important it is to examine every coin you come across, because the 2016 D penny is not just a piece of copper-plated zinc, it's a potential goldmine if you know what to look for. And it all starts with understanding what makes certain coins go from ordinary to extraordinary. Now in the year 2016, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies bearing the D Mint mark, and as is often the case with high-volume coin production, the speed and intensity of the process can sometimes lead to small lapses in quality control, resulting in error coins being released into circulation. And while the vast majority of these 2016 D pennies are worth only face value, a small but significant number of them were struck with notable minting flaws that collectors now aggressively pursue, with values often soaring into the hundreds depending on the type and visibility of the error, the overall condition of the coin, and the rarity of the specific mistake. And among the most sought-after errors in the 2016 D penny are double die obverse and reverse varieties, off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips, struck through errors, BE errors, plating blisters, misaligned dies, broad strikes, and other types of mechanical failures that occurred during the striking process. And these aren't just subtle curiosities, they are the very characteristics that can transform an otherwise common modern penny into a coin valued at $563 or more. Now let's begin with one of the most popular error types among collectors: double dies, a type of error that occurs when the die itself is improperly hubbed with multiple impressions that do not perfectly align, leading to a doubling effect on the struck coin. And for the 2016 D penny, this doubling is most often seen in the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," or the date itself, with some examples showing clear doubling visible to the naked eye or under a low-power loop. And when such coins are found in mint state or even slightly circulated condition, they can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on the clarity of the doubling and the coin's overall appeal. And then we move on to off-center strikes, which occur when the coin blank or planchet is not correctly positioned in the collar before being struck, leading to coins where part of the design is missing and the strike is skewed, and for 2016 D pennies, off-center errors ranging from 10% to 70% are known to exist, with the most valuable examples showing between 40% and 60% off-center strikes where the date remains fully visible, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for such dramatic errors, especially when combined with other anomalies like die cracks or planchet flaws. And speaking of die cracks, these errors are the result of cracks forming in the hardened steel dies used to strike coins, and when these cracks appear on the die, they leave raised lines of metal on the finished coins in the shape of the crack. And in the 2016 D penny series, there are numerous known examples of die cracks appearing on Lincoln's head, along the rim, or near the shoulder, and more. Dramatic cracks known as retained cuds or full cuds, where a piece of the die breaks off entirely, can raise the value of the coin dramatically, often exceeding $200 or more depending on size and placement. And another frequent error in the 2016 D penny is the die chip, where small pieces of the die break away and result in raised blobs of metal on the coin. And while die chips are common across many years, what makes them interesting in 2016 D pennies is their size and location, such as the popular spiked head variety where a die chip makes it look like Lincoln has a horn or spike protruding from his head, or the extra ear variety where a chip near the ear gives the illusion of a doubled or malformed ear. And these small but distinct errors can add between $20 to $150 in value depending on how dramatic and well preserved the coin is. And then there are struck-through errors, a favorite among collectors who love the unusual, because these occur when foreign materials like grease, thread, or metal shavings come between the die and the planchet during striking, resulting in areas of the coin being unusually smooth, indented, or void of design details. And 2016 D pennies with dramatic struck-through errors, especially those where large portions of Lincoln's face or the design elements are missing, can command prices between $150 to $300 or more depending on condition and appeal. And while less common, 2016 D pennies with brockage errors, where a previously struck coin sticks to the die and creates a mirror image on the next coin, have been reported and can sell for over $400 due to their rarity and fascinating visual effect. And in addition to these errors, we also have plating issues that affect the 2016 D penny because these coins are made from zinc planchets with a thin copper plating, and when the plating is incomplete, blistered, or peeling, it can result in coins with unusual textures or discolorations. And while minor plating blisters may not add much value, large or eye-catching ones, especially those with raised bubbles or flaking copper, can be quite collectible and add $50 to $200 to the coin's value, particularly if found in uncirculated condition. And one more commonly found yet still desirable error type is the misaligned die strike, where one of the dies, usually the obverse, is slightly out of alignment, causing the design to shift and sometimes leading to a coin with a wider rim on one side and narrower on the other. And when this misalignment is severe, or when it results in partial missing design elements, it can significantly enhance the coin's market value. And as we continue to examine the 2016 D penny's many error varieties, we must not overlook the BIE error, which results from a die chip forming between the letters B and E in Liberty on the obverse, making it appear as if an extra I has been inserted. And though not as valuable as more dramatic errors, BIE pennies have developed a strong following and can add up to $100 in value when paired with other die anomalies or found in high-grade condition. And as always, the final value of any error coin is influenced heavily by its condition and whether it has been graded and authenticated by a third-party service like PCGS or NGC. And 2016 D error pennies that have been certified as MS64 or higher can command much higher prices, especially when the error is both dramatic and rare. And another thing to consider is provenance and demand, because as more collectors become aware of the 2016 D penny's error potential, demand is growing, prices are increasing, and previously overlooked coins are now being pulled from circulation and listed at auction for hundreds of dollars. So whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who simply checks their pocket change, it's more important than ever to keep an eye out for the small details, because you never know when a common coin might actually be a rare and valuable error. and stories abound of people finding 2016 D pennies with unusual features, sending them off for grading, and receiving results that confirm their high value and rarity, leading to impressive returns on what was once thought to be a simple cent. And the key to unlocking these opportunities is knowledge, knowing what to look for, how to identify genuine errors, and how to differentiate them from post-mint damage or common imperfections. And as technology improves and more collectors share their finds online, the 2016 D penny continues to gain recognition as one of the most exciting modern coins for error enthusiasts, and its potential for high-value finds makes it an essential piece to check in every collection, coin roll, or handful of spare change. And with examples selling for up to $563, it stands as proof that valuable treasures don't always come in gold and silver. Sometimes they come in the form of a copper-colored cent from just a few years ago, and as interest continues to grow, it's likely that new varieties and error types from this year will continue to be discovered, cataloged, and added to the ever-growing list of collectible coins. So don't dismiss the 2016 D penny as just another coin in circulation, because it might just be the jackpot hiding in plain sight. So stay curious, stay observant, and most of all, stay informed, because the next time you examine your change, you could be holding a coin worth $563 or more in the form of a 2016 D Lincoln penny. Next, 2007 1 cent USA coin. Hey everyone, and thank you for tuning in, because what you're about to hear could turn an ordinary day into something extraordinary, especially if you've ever glanced at a penny and dismissed it as pocket change. Today we're diving into the incredible world of coin collecting, numismatics, and hidden value in everyday currency as we uncover the unbelievable story of the 2007 1 cent coin from the United States that has been valued at a staggering $523, not for its age or metal content, but for the astonishing minting errors and production flaws that make it a numismatic treasure and a symbol of how even the smallest denomination in your change jar could be worth big money, with the right characteristics and the right set of circumstances, turning what should be a virtually worthless copper-plated zinc coin into one of the most sought-after modern errors in American coinage history. And as we peel back the layers on what makes the 2007 penny so valuable to collectors, enthusiasts, dealers, and auction houses alike, we will explore a wide variety of known and reported errors, strange anomalies, production inconsistencies, striking mistakes, die malfunctions, and rare misprints that collectively or individually can push the price of this coin far beyond its face value and into hundreds of dollars, and in some rare instances, coins approaching or exceeding the $523 mark have been known to trade hands among collectors who understand that these errors are not just quirks. They are key markers of limited minting variations that inherently create scarcity in a series otherwise known for mass production and commonality, and one of the most striking features found on error 2007 1 cent coins is the presence of a doubled die, a striking error that happens during the hubbing process where the coin die receives misaligned impressions, leading to doubling on the final coin, often seen on Lincoln's eye, his jawline, the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." And when these doubling features are strong, sharp, and especially visible without magnification, the value of the coin increases dramatically, especially if it's preserved in mint state condition or better. And then we must also take into account examples with repunched mint marks. 2007 pennies minted in Denver are marked with a small d below the date, and in rare cases, this d was punched more than once into the die, resulting in visible overlapping mint marks that are highly prized by collectors as varieties, and such repunched mint marks are documented and cataloged within error coin databases and often sell for multiple times face value even when worn, and for pristine uncirculated versions, the value can soar exponentially. And this is just the beginning, because some 2007 cents also exhibit off-center strikes, where the design is visibly skewed away from the center, with part of the planchet remaining blank, if the coin's date and mint mark are still visible, and the strike is off by around 50% or more. Such coins are incredibly collectible due to their dramatic appearance and rarity, and examples like this routinely fetch hundreds of dollars on popular auction sites and at coin shows where error coin experts specifically hunt for coins that push the envelope of normality. And adding to the appeal are broad-struck coins, which occur when a coin is struck outside of its retaining collar, causing the rim to appear misshapen, expanded, or missing. Altogether, resulting in a coin with a wider than normal diameter and a highly unusual look that collectors love to add to their collections, especially if the coin is clean, untarnished, and maintains strong detail across the design. And we cannot forget the rare 2007 cents that were struck on foreign or incorrect planchets, a mistake that leads to coins being overweight or underweight, discolored, or showing portions of designs from the wrong denomination, such as being struck on a blank mint for a dime, resulting in a lighter weight and incomplete image. And if you happen to find a 2007 penny that's abnormally light or sounds different when dropped, that could be an indicator of a wrong planchet strike, and these errors are immensely valuable. And now consider the even rarer occurrences of die caps and struck-through errors, such as when a coin is struck through a piece of cloth, grease, or another foreign object that leaves an impression on the coin's surface. These types of errors are not only fascinating from a production standpoint but also are considered one-of-a-kind and have been known to command exceptional premiums when offered for sale to the right buyers, and in other cases, the coins may have retained die breaks, known as cuds, where part of the die has broken away, causing a raised, unstruck blob or blank area usually near the rim or in the lettering of the coin. And these errors can range in size from small blisters to dramatic defects that obliterate part of the design, and larger or more dramatic cuds on 2007 pennies are especially collectible due to their uniqueness and the visual disruption they cause to the coin's artwork, making each one feel like a minting accident frozen in time, and collectors with an eye for dramatic visuals often compete for such pieces when they appear in high grades. And we also have to explore the aesthetic anomalies that raise the value of these coins, such as rainbow toning or unusual coloration caused by environmental factors or chemical reactions during minting or storage, which while not true mint errors can nonetheless lead to eye-catching examples that bring high prices, especially when combined with other flaws or in mint state condition. And many collectors specifically seek out coins with spectacular natural toning in hues of blue, gold, and purple, adding artistic appeal and making each coin stand out as a miniature piece of metallic art. And furthermore, we have transitional errors to consider. While not as common on the 2007 cent, transitional errors can occur when a mint uses planchets from a previous year's specifications or incorrect compositions, resulting in a coin that physically differs from its contemporaries, and any such deviation from the expected copper-plated zinc blank can send a coin's value skyrocketing if authenticated. And if all of this wasn't enough, we also consider strike-through wire, strike-through cloth, and retained lamination errors, where a piece of the coin's outer plating peels away or was improperly bonded during production, leading to flaking or splitting in the copper surface, especially around the rim or major design features. And coins with strong, clear lamination issues from 2007 have been certified and sold for impressive premiums because they represent real flaws in the minting process that slipped through quality control and into public circulation. And then we must consider the role of condition and grading, because all of these aforementioned errors become exponentially more valuable when the coin itself is in brilliant uncirculated or mint state 65, 66, 67, or higher as graded by third-party certification services such as PCGS or NGC, and in these upper echelons of preservation where luster, strike sharpness, and surface cleanliness are paramount. A 2007 penny with even a minor error can be worth hundreds, and when paired with a major error or combination of anomalies, values can exceed $523 easily. And what's more, the rise of online marketplaces and coin collecting communities has helped spread awareness of these error types, with many 2007 cents being listed, sold, and showcased on platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, Great Collections, and others, where fierce bidding often occurs among collectors hungry to add the next rare anomaly to their collection. And it's stories like this that make it so important for you to check your change, look at your coins, especially your pennies, under good light or magnification, and consider submitting anything unusual for expert review, because what looks like a common 2007 penny might actually be a valuable and rare piece of modern minting history. And as always, those who know what to look for have the upper hand, whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning your journey into coin collecting, because learning about mint errors, varieties, and the hidden value in ordinary coins can lead to surprising discoveries that not only bring profit but connect us to a fascinating part of American history that's literally at our fingertips every day. and that's why this hobby continues to grow in popularity, excitement, and community engagement. So before you toss aside that penny or spend it without a second glance, remember that the 2007 1-cent coin could be your next big find worth over $523 if the right combination of errors, preservation, and rarity align. And now that you know what to look for, get out there and start hunting, because the next valuable coin could be waiting in your wallet, your change jar, or the next bankroll you open. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare error pennies and want to discover more incredible stories of coins worth hundreds or thousands hiding in plain sight, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on the next exciting find or collector tip that could turn your pocket change into serious cash. Last 1981 1-cent USA coin. Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us today, because what we're diving into is something every coin collector, casual hobbyist, treasure hunter, or even someone just cleaning out their junk drawer absolutely needs to hear about. A story where an ordinary penny becomes an extraordinary discovery and potentially a major payday, as we unravel the remarkable story of the 1981 Lincoln cent, a coin that has shocked collectors and stunned numismatists by reaching values as high as $408 due to its extraordinary range of mint errors, striking anomalies, and production mistakes that have elevated what most people would dismiss as pocket change into one of the more talked about and researched modern error coins. And we're not just talking about one specific coin here, but a wide class of 1981 1-cent coins that, due to a perfect storm of production quirks at the Denver Mint, have produced some extremely collectible, incredibly rare, and jaw-droppingly valuable specimens that continue to surprise both seasoned collectors and newcomers alike. And in order to understand what makes the 1981 penny so special, we first need to understand its context in American coinage history, as this year represents one of the final years before a major shift in penny composition occurred, with the U.S. Mint preparing for its move from 95% copper coins to the current copper-plated zinc format, which officially changed in 1982 but already saw production preparations and die modifications underway in 1981, leading to a number of inconsistencies and transitional mishaps that resulted in various types of errors and varieties that collectors today are hunting feverishly, especially among Denver minted specimens, which often feature more pronounced and dramatic minting flaws compared to their Philadelphia counterparts. And this backdrop of change and production shift helps explain why so many different types of errors emerged in the 1981 pennies, and why even the most common of these errors can fetch hundreds of dollars if authenticated, properly graded, and marketed to the right buyer. And to begin with, let's take a closer look at one of the most well-known error types associated with the 1981 penny, which is the double die error, specifically a double die obverse, where the coin's design elements on the obverse side appear double due to a misalignment during the die creation process. And on this particular year, coins have been found that exhibit strong doubling on Lincoln's ear, eye, jawline, and sometimes even in the date and mint mark, which, when visible clearly and without magnification, makes these coins especially desirable among error collectors who prize bold and dramatic doubling as key investment targets. And while not all doubling is created equal, with machine doubling being less valuable than true hub doubling, it is these sharply defined double die coins that often command the highest premiums, and in mint state condition can reach or exceed the $408 mark, especially when certified by PCGS or NGC. And moving beyond doubling, we also find a number of 1981 cents with repunched mint marks, or RPMs, where the Denver D was punched more than once in slightly offset positions into the working die, resulting in visible overlapping marks that can be seen clearly under magnification, and in some extreme cases even visible to the naked eye. And this type of variety is particularly associated with the manual mint mark punching method that was still being used in 1981, leading to a number of dramatic RPM examples. And depending on strength and visibility, these can sell for dozens to hundreds of dollars even in lower grades, but when combined with higher grade condition and other anomalies, the value multiplies quickly. And then we get into one of the most eye-catching error types, off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned during the striking process, and as a result shows part of the design missing and an empty crescent of blank planchet on the opposite side. And depending on the severity of the off-center strike, coins can range from being mildly collectible to extremely valuable, with the sweet spot being off-center by 50% or more while still preserving a visible date and mint mark, which is the combination most collectors seek out. And for a 1981 D penny in this condition prices can quickly hit and exceed the $408 valuation, and these types of errors are especially appreciated for their dramatic appearance, which makes them easy to identify and highly desirable to show off in any collection. And along similar lines, we also have broad struck errors, which occur when the collar die malfunctions and the coin is struck outside the retaining collar, leading to a final product that appears wider and more distorted than usual without the defined rim. And these broad struck errors are always an exciting find, especially when the coin remains well centered and the details are clear. And for 1981 D pennies struck broad with strong detail and minimal, where collectors are willing to pay high premiums, particularly when they come with certification and documentation. And another fascinating error class involves coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning a planchet meant for a different denomination or even a foreign coin was mistakenly fed into the coining press, resulting in coins that are either too small or too large in diameter and usually a different weight than standard 1-cent pieces. And in some documented cases, 1981 D cents have been found struck on dime planchets or even foreign coin planchets, resulting in missing detail, incomplete rims, and extremely unique overall appearance. And these error coins are so scarce that when one is found, it tends to create buzz among collectors, with values frequently breaking into the hundreds of dollars, and a confirmed example can easily sell for or above $408 at auction or private sale, especially when graded and attributed correctly. And other error types include die caps, where a struck coin sticks to the die and continues to strike additional blanks, causing an increasingly distorted and dramatic coin stack-like appearance, which is extremely rare but highly valuable. And also, we must not forget the famous strike-through errors, where foreign material such as grease, thread, or other debris gets between the die and planchet during the strike, resulting in missing or altered design features. And in some 1981 D cents, large portions of the motto or date are faint or missing altogether due to grease-filled dies or strike-through events, which collectors value highly, especially when they affect significant portions of the design in a unique way. And then there are die break and die crack errors, where aging dies begin to fracture, leading to raised, jagged lines on the coin's surface, and in extreme cases these fractures near the rim can result in large cuts, which are unstruck areas caused by a piece of the die breaking off entirely. And these cut errors are especially popular among collectors. And for 1981 D cents with well-placed large cuts, the value can quickly reach high figures, especially when combined with clean fields and strong remaining details. And then we consider lamination errors, where a portion of the copper plating peels or flakes due to improper bonding during the planchet creation process, resulting in areas where the zinc core is exposed or where the surface is cracked or blistered, and dramatic lamination errors on 1981 D cents are well documented and especially prized when they affect the obverse design or portrait. And again, when these coins are found in higher grade condition and slabbed by a major grading service, their market value soars, often surpassing the $408 threshold, depending on severity and placement. And coloration and toning also play a role in valuation, as naturally rainbow-toned coins, which result from prolonged exposure to certain environmental conditions, can produce coins with vivid blues, purples, golds, and reds. And these beautifully toned coins, especially when the toning is natural and not artificial, command collector premiums. And when you combine an attractive toning pattern with an error coin, the value can climb significantly. And we can't discuss value without talking about condition and grading, because a coin's overall state has a massive impact on its final worth. And even minor errors on high-grade coins, certified MS65 or higher, can bring huge premiums, and major errors on MS67 or MS68 coins are extremely rare and always bring top dollar when sold. And 1981 D cents in these grades are scarce already due to age and circulation, where so error examples in pristine shape are rare jewels that demand attention and collector competition, and often find themselves at center stage in auction catalogs and online bidding wars. And the demand for high-quality errors continues to grow, especially as social media and YouTube channels like this one raise awareness about what to look for and the potential treasures hiding in plain sight. And there are real stories every day of people finding these valuable coins in their change from the store, in old coin jars or in bank rolls, and realizing they were sitting on $408 or more in value without even knowing it. And that's why learning to identify doubling, repunched mint marks, strike-throughs, off-center strikes, broad strikes, wrong planchets, cuts, lamination errors, die caps, and other anomalies is such an important part of the collector journey, because this knowledge directly translates to opportunity. And for the 1981 D-penny, which exists in large quantities. The few rare errors that did make it through unnoticed by mint inspectors are now being hunted aggressively by a growing base of collectors who are more informed and more connected than ever before. And with error coin catalogs, websites and grading population reports becoming more detailed, it's easier now to determine the rarity and value of any particular piece. And in the case of the 1981 D-penny, the opportunity lies